1, 2, 3, 4.
What's going on, everybody? It's DotBets. We're checking back in. We have our On the Dot PGA live stream coming at you guys here for the Arnold Palmer Invitational. As always, I'm here with my co-host at Teaser Nation, who took down another outright last week. If you guys tuned in, we'd love to hear from you guys who tailed the Chris Kirk play. Teaser, how are we feeling, buddy?
Man, it feels good to always hit one. I think that's of 2023, our third, and I think a sixth of the actual year. So yeah, it was good. It was a little sweaty at the end. I was pissed when he went in the water, but he made up for it in the playoffs. So it was a really good week. Hopefully, whoever tuned in got him with us. But yeah, I mean, we had the tournament matchup, Lowry over M. That was easy money at plus 140. Obviously got the top 20 with Chris Kirk, and then we both were on the Danny Willett top 40. So it was overall a good week, even without the outright. So, but it's always great to, add on with that. So we're looking for another one this week, 2 in a row.
Yeah, 3 outrights in 23. And then we have our 6th one from Teaser. Guys, make sure you guys are following him on Twitter. Guys, on fire this season. And not to toot my own horn, but hey, I've just swept 2 weeks in a row of my top 40s. Basically what I do, my strategy, I leverage my DFS plays, and I say, hey, you know what? If I like him in DFS, why not put them in my top 40? Because those are more than likely some long shots. So get a little bit different. Last week, we crushed Eric Cole. We had Tyler Duncan. So we had a bunch of people that were up there at the top 5 of the leaderboard, and I'm not sweating the top 40, which was nice to have. But
yeah,
this week,
if you give out a top 40, everyone might as well just take the top 5 because that's what you've been hitting lately.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. And usually what I do is I take an outright and then I take their top 20. So maybe I should start taking my top 40 outrights, but that'd be worth a little sprinkle. All right, so let's get into the Arnold Palmer Invitational. Another elevated field here, a lot of studs, different field that we had last week. Tell us about the course and what attributes you're looking at and what type of players we should target this week. What are you thinking, Teaser?
Yeah, so just a brief overview of Bay Hill. It's a par 72. It's almost 7,400 yards, Bermuda greens. This week really is kind of the grinders course. We're, back at that, just like Riviera type thing. Variety players play well here. So like we kind of look at the bombers a little bit, and then you kind of also have to look at some short game guys as well, if you're not really striking it. Supposedly there's going to be a big wind difference this week too. I forgot if it was advantage morning, afternoon. Do you know about that?
Yeah, so it currently as it stands right now, make sure you're following it up in the morning or so. For if you're setting lineups, but the PM on Thursday and the AM for Friday has the best, currently the best leverage, because Friday afternoon winds are supposedly 40 plus, and so those Thursday early the AM PM definitely has a disadvantage there. So if you are looking for, I did want to say this, if you're looking for a first round leader, target those guys in the AM. But if you're building DFS lineups, target players in the PM AM time slots. So if you guys have any questions on that, throw those in the chat.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't usually base it off wind, my bets, but I mean, it's always good to look at. But there's a couple guys this week that usually play well here. Just to name a few: McIlroy, Fitzpatrick, Hatton, Hovland, and Horschel, and Woodland as well. Yep. There's a lot of long par 4s, a lot of long par 3s. So like one key thing I was looking at this week's par 3s from 200 to 225. I think there's like 3 of them on this course. Essentially, you're just going to need to know how to scramble. You're going to need a ball strike this week in the wind. So that's kind of what I'm looking at this week. So really key stats, bogey avoidance, just like we looked at last week. The par 3 200 plus, par 5 scoring is always essential. And then really you're just kind of, narrowing down what guys you feel comfortable in, tough conditions. So I'll just kind of get right into a couple of my outrights. I know we are both on this guy. It's a little low number, but it's Rory McIlroy. I got 10-1. I don't. It's just something about him this week. Obviously, he hasn't won yet this year, but he kills this course. I think 8 out of 9 times he's came here, he's been tied 13th or better, which is actually pretty crazy stat there. So he's almost top 10ing every time he comes here. Obviously, he's going to be up there in the model. You can see there he's third, fourth strokes gain approach, first par 5 scoring. He's making birdies, opportunities gained. So I mean, he's always going to be at the top of the model. So it's not really affecting why I'm taking him. It's just I just have that gut feeling he's going to be there again this week and finish it this time. The second guy I'm going to go to is just, I don't know, it's kind of recency bias, but it's not. It's Max Home at 25-1. I'm not too big on the number there, but he's 14th in the model. He's going to be up there too as well, since he's playing great golf right now. The last 3 years here, I think he's had 3 top 25s. So he's been trending here. Obviously, he's coming in as one of the hottest players on tour. He just won a month ago, so it's just more of a recency bias for me in the course comp and the course history. He plays well at Quail Hollow as well. He's won there. That's another course that's very close to this course. He's great grinder, great in tough conditions. And then this guy at number 3, he's kind of coming off an injury, I guess, from the beginning of the year. So we don't really know, where he's at. If he's 100%, he hasn't really been trending in the right direction. And that's Matt Fitzpatrick. I don't know. He's 58th in the model, so that's not too great, obviously, but he's 35-1. I did like that number over 30-1. I mean, like I said, we don't know where he's at. The numbers haven't been too great the past 50 rounds there, but he does have 4 top 10s here in his last 4 starts. So he's literally top 10ing every time he's came here. Like I said, he has horrible recent form, but hopefully, he's kind of hitting this stride going into some big tournaments. Hopefully he had a couple weeks off, I believe, to kind of get healthy and get that neck right or whatever. I think it was his neck, but yeah. And just another thing we're going off this week, it's a grinders course, so that's going to fit him well. He plays well at majors. This is kind of essentially like a major type setup. And then this week I'm going to take kind of somewhat of a flyer, and that's Jordan Spieth at 50-1. I don't know if that's such an outrageous number on him, really, because he hasn't been, that great either. He's 47th in the model. He did come in 4th here in 2021. He was actually pretty close to winning it, or he was in contention on a Sunday, but that's more of a mid-tier flyer to me. I do like the 50-1 on him. I kind of transitioned outside from Matsuyama to Spieth, and I'll let you get into Matsuyama more about that, but as to why we're kind of off him this week. But
we got on before the show, and Teaser's like, hey, I want to take Matsuyama, and I read him a quote from him, and it's basically saying, hey, he tweaked his neck or something, that he's not going to be 100%. Didn't feel too confident in himself this week. So anybody who's playing him out there, play him sparingly. If you are playing him in DFS, probably limit that to high risk. He should be lower owned than expected this week. So try to stay clear of Hideki this week. But I'll piggyback on Rory. I got him at 9-1. It's not a great number. Maybe I'll try to and see what I can get live on him during the round. But yeah, you can't. He's got a 13th, a 10th, a 5th, a 6th, a 1st, a 4th. It's
crazy.
Just, like you go off of course history here, and it is just insane what Rory has done. You could basically call this his home course. That's how I would do it. My other guy is Tyrell Hatton. I've seen him a lot in the industry. His course history is phenomenal. He plays tough courses very, very well. And then my dark horse this week, which I was stunned to see Teaser on, I'm glad to see him on. It was Fitzpatrick again. I was going through the odds, and I'm like, where the hell is Fitzpatrick at? I had to keep scrolling. I thought he was going to be in the 2000s. I got him 35-1, and I'm sitting here like, okay, maybe I'm recency biased because I just watched his full swing episode.
Yeah, I know.
And I was like, man, I really like this guy a lot.
Yeah.
But I think he fits this course well. He's got really good course history. He's got a 9th, a 10th, a 9th, a 2nd, and a missed cut in his last 5. So top 10 for sure. I mean, if you want to be safe, play a top 10. If you want to be safer, play a top 20. That's what I'll be doing here. I'm going to go outright, and then I'll do a top 20 as well. Put a little bit more wager on the top 20 just in case. So that's kind of how you leverage yourself there. But yeah, those are my 3 outrights currently. I might have one more for the official card, but those 3 I feel pretty confident on. I did have one question for you. The 2 guys that are in the model currently have not played this course before, Xander and Patrick Cantlay. I really want to take one of them. I thought Cantlay was going to go under the radar this week. He's still coming in around 17% DFS-wise. So I know we're not in Cali anymore. We're in Florida, and he doesn't usually play too well on the East Coast. What are your thoughts on Xander and Patrick this week?
It's tricky for me. I kind of do like seeing a little bit of course history, just in that sense. I do like to see like how they, manage a course and navigate it. But I don't know. I think it's kind of if I had to narrow it down between the 2, I'm going to take the better, tougher course player condition wise. I would give that edge to Xander, to be honest with you. Yeah. I think I would lean more Xander. I don't know Cantlay. I wouldn't call him a bad win player. I don't think he's like the elite, tough course condition guy. So I would definitely lean Xander because, he's always there in majors. He's almost won the Masters, but like 2-3 times. He's almost won a couple majors he's been down the stretch with. So I think I definitely would lean Xander for those 2 guys being their first time. So
yeah, I agree with you there. And they're both literally 9,100, 9,200 in DK. They're both right at 17%. I mean, everybody is split on these 2. They have no clue what these 2 are going to do. They rank very highly in models. I lean Xander just slightly with the grinder mentality here. Stroke strain on approach is huge this week. He's number 1 in that reference there. I'll sort by that. That's another guy that came up here, Tom Hoge, your guy. I've seen him quite a few in the industry. What do you think about Hoge this week?
I think a top 40 would be okay on him. I wouldn't mind that. I think he's +1. I did just scroll through those. Maybe you're the expert top 40, but I can't keep up with you. But I think it's +130, 140. So I mean that's pretty decent value on Hoge there.
Yeah,
I don't know. I do like him because ever since I hit that outright on him at Pebble, but it's just like he's very inconsistent. We all thought he was going to break out after that, but he's been kind of up and down. It's like you never really know. Like he's a great ball striker, but you never know when he's going to put it together in that week. So I think the safest play is the top 40. I don't think he has a chance at an outright, but
yeah, that makes sense. What you got some top 20s for this week?
Yeah, I'll give out a couple here.
And if anybody's got any questions over DFS placements, matchups, first round leaders, who you should target, whatnot, love to hear from you guys. If you guys are on Twitch and YouTube, throw a comment in there. If you're on Twitter, simply hit that retweet button. It means a lot for us and goes further than you know. So give us some placements this week, Teaser.
And then I guess I'll just hop one more note about outrights. I think I was reading a trend this week that the last 10 winners here, they're more the upper tier guys. There was only the Matt Every guy who won back to back when he was just a long shot, but it's usually the top tier guys in the 10, 20, 30 ranges there. So I would kind of I don't know if a long shot's going to win this week really. So I would kind of be aiming towards that top tier. But so for my first top 20. We didn't talk about this guy yet, I don't think, but Victor Hovland, +150. I like the number on DraftKings there, +150. It's weird. Like you can't really. He's really anomaly. This guy. It's you want to take him. Like his short game's just so atrocious. It's like you can't take him here, but he's played really well here. He's a pure ball striker. He plays well. in these tough conditions. And if you can kind of see the one stat I mentioned before, he's number one in par 3, 220 to 225. And that this is where you can kind of gain on a course where if you're birding a couple of those tough par 3s, you're really, you're ahead of the field in that. So I think he can kind of make up some ground there. So yeah, he's one guy. Hopefully, he's on his ball striking this week, and we don't really have to rely on that short game.
And if this is your first time tuning into the show, Teaser is not a fan of Victor Hovland.
Yeah.
So the fact that he is on him this week is pretty significant. So just wanted to point that out. When he told me this guy was on his card, my jaw dropped. I said, okay, I guess I got to play him a lot in DFS and get over the field on him and go after Victor, because I mean he's the loose cannon. You see him each and every week, and all of a sudden he gets a 2 on a par 5, and then all of a sudden he gets an 8 on a par 5. So he's all over the place. But yeah, so just wanted to point that out, that if Teaser's on Hovland, that's a good thing.
Yeah, I'm trying not to be biased this year. You got to keep that out of it. But it's tough. Like he could easily miss a cut or top 20. It's hard to cap this guy more than or less than others. So, but the second guy I'm going to go with, you mentioned as one of your outrights, is Terrell Hatton at plus 150. He won here before COVID in 2020. Once again, the theme of the week, another elite ball striker who can play in the wind. We're just going to keep harping on that because that's what you need here, what we talked about with the conditions. So I also got that at plus 150. He's 21st in the model. Really the only bad stats, the par 3, which is ironic because I just said I was looking at that, but it doesn't matter I mean, he's going to be, I think he's going to be in contention this week. We already mentioned what he does here. I think he has like a second. He won a couple other top 10. So
yeah, second, 21st, 1 in 2020, 29th and 19, and then a 69th and a 4th. So
okay, so yeah, he's not missing cuts, which is good. We're getting him into the weekend, so I'll take that any day. And then this one I'm a little bit scared at. I don't know if I'm going to pivot to Fitzpatrick yet. It's either going to be this guy or Fitzpatrick, and the guy is Keegan Bradley at 2 to 1. The only reason why I'm debating is because of the price, 2 to 1 to plus 130 on Fitzpatrick. But I do think Fitzpatrick is a little, more of a guarantee. It's just tough because I've seen this guy so much this week, Keegan Bradley. Yeah. It's 37th. I mean, if you look at the course history, he's played here a decade and the past decade, and he has made the cut every time, I believe. If you can correct me if I'm wrong, if you have it up, but I think that's true.
He did. Yep.
Yeah. Obviously, once again, another great ball striker. And the funny thing is he's actually been putting really well the past couple of weeks. So what's he strokes gained putting? He's 35th for him. His last 50 rounds, that's actually pretty good for him. When you see him kind of making putts, that's scary because that's when he's placing and he's, getting up there. So if he can kind of just put it all together, that'll be good. I think he has 5 top 20s in his last 8 starts as well. So he's coming in hot. And I know one of those have been a win back in the fall. So that's going to kind of wrap up the top 20s. We'll see if I might throw Fitzpatrick as a 4th. We came off a big week, so why not splurge a little?
You might as well.
Yeah.
And then talking DFS wise, him and Fowler. So Bradley and Fowler are literally in the same spot again. They're like the 75 to 7,600 range, and then you have both of them coming in around 14%. So they're technically value plays, but I also consider those like value chalk plays where you kind of want to, you're going to still want to get 2 guys below 5. If you go with a 1 guy below, like a 1%er, then you can maybe sprinkle in Fowler and Bradley together. But those 2 are going to be very, very popular. And I think 14% is pretty generous. Those guys fall into a range at, mid 7,000s that a lot of people end up getting to, plug 1 guy in towards the end or start with those 2 and kind of see what trickles up. So you just got to play around and see if those 2 are kind of just in that same spot that I've been seeing throughout the industry, Fowler and Bradley. Another guy that I've seen a lot of is Jason Day, but he's about $1,000 more expensive and a little bit less ownership because of that. So if you do want to get a little bit different, I'd probably tend to Jason Day. But those three, I'm not too high on in the DFS realm. I understand they got a lot of course history, but just it doesn't pop for me this week. But if I'm going to play them, I'm going to be under the field for sure. All right, so I'll get to the only other top 20 that I got this week. The other one I just talked about was Fitzpatrick, and then I'm going to go back to the Sung Jae, and I was trying to talk myself out of playing Sung Jae because he's played a lot of golf this year, and usually guys take off last week and to prep for the next couple weeks. He ended up playing, but he didn't play particularly well. I mean, he was like 40+% owned in DFS. We told you guys stay away from him, fade him, helped out tremendously. But I think that he didn't play as much stressful golf as a lot of people imagine. So that's my angle here. Elite ball striker, should be able to score on the par fives. I think that's a key for this particular course. As you can see, he's third in the model there. But just a guy that has played a lot of golf, should be in a good form. And I think plus 150 is a dang good number. I've seen people take his outrights. So give me Sung Jae plus 150 of me. He's got a 20, a 21 finish, and third place finishes here. So course history is there as well. So you can't go wrong with Sung Jae. The theme here is elite ball strikers and good course history. Literally, I'm not making it up. And I think if you tune into any website or show, they should be telling you the exact same thing.
Yep. Yeah, it's how we narrow, like anyone watching. It's just how you narrow down, because you got to do it eventually. Like you can't take all the elite guys. So we're just really looking at who's better. You got to take a couple key things you like for that week, and then just throw them in there. So.
Yeah, and the main thing when limiting your player pool on DraftKings or whatever you're playing in, try to find reasons not to play somebody.
Right.
That is crucial, because the first thing I said to Teaser when I got on, I said, man, I really like a lot of guys this week. Yeah. And then all of a sudden you like them. You might have a 50 player pool, players in your player pool. And then all of a sudden you go one by one and you look at them and you say, okay, I don't like this guy. I'm taking this guy out. I'm taking this guy out. So it's okay to like everybody, initially, and then narrow it down. I'm usually because I play 20 max. I'm usually in the 30 to 35 range. So I start with close to about 40 to 45 and narrow it down to there. So anybody out there who wants some player pool advice on DFS. All right. So let's get into. Are you any top 40s?
I mean, I kind of touched on the Tom Hoagie one. Where's he at? He's plus 120. Yeah, I mean, I don't hate that one. I'll let you get into yours because I know they're all going to be winners. So
we'll see.
Tell you,
I did go a little wilder on this top 40. My favorite play is going to be Woodland plus 100 for one unit. I think he got a top 5 here last year, and the way he hits his irons. You can see his proximity with 200 plus is third, and his par 3 scoring is number 1 from 200 to 225 out. Obviously, the strokes gained. Putting is horrendous. However, putting is so variant that anybody can get hot each and every week. I'll take all the metrics above putting, and if they're all somewhat there, I'm okay with playing a guy. And Woodland did play good last week as well. What did he end up at? I think he got a 9th last week, so he got a top 10 finish.
He's trending.
At the Genesis, and then he had the Phoenix Open where he was 42nd, Farmer 62. So trending in the right way. Another tough course, elite ball striker, and I hope the putter gets there. So top 40 for me, and then my other one, I got Taylor Pendrith, who has played very, very well here, plus 150 there. Then my dark horse is Davis Thompson, and I've been on him this year a couple times. I don't even know where he ranks in the model, to be honest with you. Let's see, Davis. So yeah, doesn't I was just on Gary for that, and now he's 122. So you kind of pick and choose your battles here with my plus 250 top 40.
Yeah,
my
that's just a
my
long
1%,
shot,
yeah, my 1% owned in DK. You're
Right.
really hoping that this guy strikes gold. And I don't think I had his course history up. Let me see real quick. I think he was top 20 here last year.
Mhm.
If I remember, I think he played here one time. They were so he's 42nd last year, 42nd.
Okay.
So he's got some course history here. Pretty good form. I'll take Davis Thompson as a flyer this week, and then I do have a couple more that I'm eyeing. I haven't officially made any bets on these guys, but I'm putting them in my player pool for my sleepers. You got Charlie Hoffman, who's played here for the last like half decade or more than half a decade. Then you have, I'm going to go back to Danny Willett. So me and Teaser have been on this, double up weeks for certain guys, and Willett fits that for me this week. I really like where his game's at and his particular course history. He's got a 29th miscut, 18th, 31st, and then a 52nd last year. So with his recent form and where he sits in the model, I really, really like the fact that we can get Danny Willett here. So I might add him to top 40, but he's for sure in my sleeper pool. All those guys are coming in under 2%. So you're out there playing a couple different lineups, throw one or two of those guys in there, and you are for sure to be unique. And just like last week, if you had Cole, if you had Duncan, those guys were 2%. I think Cole was around 4. Then you had Duncan right at 2. So if you have those two guys, one of those guys go off, you automatically fly up those leaderboards. And, shit happens. They could definitely miss the cut as well. So that's why they call it high risk. Last week was a great high risk week. I would tend to lean this week ends up being more of a high risk with the wind factor here with the PM AM advantage. So that's another way to get a little bit different there. So you got any first round leaders or matchups? I know you dominated the Lowry M1. That was a snipe. That was a plus 140 snipe right at the end of the stream. We always like to keep those matchups at the end because sometimes when we're on here, you just start looking at the board and it just pops up.
Yeah.
I felt like that's what happened last week. We were talking of Lowry and you're just like, hell yeah, let's take Lowry plus 140 on him. And I was like, hell yeah, I like that.
You're just like, do you have any matchups? I start looking. I'm just like, wow. And then, so yeah, I mean,
sometimes when you don't overthink it is the best. You're just like, you initially look at it, you're like, what the hell? Why is that line like that? Exactly.
Yeah. I'll do the same thing this week. It's like, I'm looking for those plus. They're not always going to hit the plus matchups, but I mean, there's one that I'm not as confident in, but JT at plus 130 over Cantley, like it's not like I'm a big fan of JT, but when you get like a plus 130 on a guy where it's like, I think both of them are going to make the cut. It's just a matter of who plays better on the weekend type thing.
Yeah.
I like that one.
To add to Thomas, I had him on my card as a top 20, and I'm debating putting him back on there. But my 3 value plays that I love this week in DFS, Thomas, Fitzpatrick, and Hovland.
Maybe put JT back on. I might put in a matchup. I'll tell you to put him. I don't want you to miss out on that. It's hard because I think it's his first time playing here. He hasn't played more than once if he has. I'm almost positive he hasn't played here, but
yeah, I don't think he has either.
Yeah.
Let's see. Arnold,
because he
played in 2015, so I don't think that matters.
Yeah, that doesn't matter. So, yeah, I mean, it's 2 guys that haven't really played this course. That one I like just because the value. You always got to look at the value, plus 130. This one's a little tricky because I think obviously Tom Kim's first time playing here, but minus 105 to Matsuyama. That's going to be a straight fade on Matsuyama because of the news that, about his neck, if it's really bothering him. If I'm scrolling through more, I don't know. I think that's kind of it. I kind of narrow it down to 2. I know you'll kind of like this one, Woodland plus 110 over Bradley. I don't know if I like it as much, but you're getting value again.
See, but that's surprising to me. You'd think with all the hype on Bradley that would be like minus 140-ish, 130.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
But there's some value there. And I think that's saying that, hey, Woodland should be a factor this week. So top 40, I like that for sure.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm sniping a first round leader. I'm looking at guys that are teeing off early. This is for a first round leader because, like I said, if we're playing weekend long and we want our guys to make the cut, I do not want them to play in the 40+ wins on Friday afternoon. So, and then you also have the Thursday morning advantage here with the wind picking up a little bit in the afternoon on Thursday. So the first round leaders I'm targeting early on in the morning. Who could go low? Let's see real quick. Just a quick glance. I usually don't do any of these. I usually do not do this.
In the AM. Yeah, see, it's just tough with the wind and stuff. I'm not a big FRLs. I'm not a big fan of, but anymore. I used to like be addicted to them last year, but I think it's a little waste, but it's always fun to, get a sweat here and there with them. But are you looking at AMs right now?
Yeah, on AMs. Well, one guy we have not discussed. Sorry, one guy we have not discussed, and I would feel injustice if we do not say his name because he's everywhere. Actually, we'll say two because Scotty we never talked about. We never talk about Scotty.
We never do. I don't get it.
The other guy is Willie Z. I'm not completely off of him. He's going to be my player pool. I'm going to be lower than the field on him. But, man, I don't know where all this love came for Willie Z this week, and he plays tough courses really well. I don't know. What do you think about Willie? I
think he's cursed this week, to be honest with you. I think he could play well. I don't think he'll win, though. There's just too much on him this week. But I don't know. He still really hasn't been trending lately. He was another guy who's coming off that back surgery. So it's like, let's see him get some, rhythm first. I know he had a good placement the other week, and then Scotty Scheffler, it's just, I don't know, man. Like, I don't even have any hate towards him. I just never bet him. I don't get it.
Not much value.
Yeah, there isn't value, and I don't think I'd rather take Rory and Rahm over him if I had to as an elite guy. But if Rory's in the morning, I would take him first round leader, to be honest. If he is, I don't know.
Rory, I think, is in the afternoon.
Okay, so there goes that. I could see him going like 5 under though, but is Fitzpatrick in the morning?
Fitzpatrick's in the morning. Yep. Yeah, Rory's in the afternoon with Homa and Hatton. That's an elite group.
45-1 Fitzpatrick.
I was thinking that or Hovland. One of those two.
He's in the morning?
Yeah, Hovland 35-1.
I don't hate that. It's going to be some random person, honestly.
That's what it usually is. That's why these are little gimmick plays.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I could see a Aaron Rye shout out 130-1.
See, there we go. Oh, man. I almost pulled the trigger on Svensson again this week, but I stayed away. So he'll probably end up being top 5.
He's tough to bet too, man. That guy is. He's hard.
All right, so that rounds it out. Hope you guys got a little bit more smarter PGA, DFS, PGA betting after listening to us somewhat ramble at the end. But that's all right. Appreciate you guys tuning in. We'll be back next week. Next week's the Players, right?
Yes.
Yeah, next week is the Players. Yeah. The 5th major, we're going to be locked and loaded. We're going to get a guest for that one for sure. So usually the bigger ones, we are going to get guests for you guys. So we'll tune in next Wednesday, probably 7:30 once again, or 8:30 if you're on the East Coast. So appreciate you guys tuning in. Make sure if you guys are rewatching this on Twitter, hit that retweet button. And if you're on YouTube or Twitch, hit that follow button and thumbs up. We appreciate you guys tuning in. And we will get up on out of here and let's cash some tickets.
Peace.